Coming in hot. Coming in hot.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to David's Solutions. All right, so based on the survey I posted a few months back, the feedback I received was for us to begin a new tutorial in AutoCAD. Now, I'm going to make this brief presentation just to give an overview of AutoCAD and to briefly introduce it. In order to learn more about it, we learn more by practicing. So there are going to be additional videos where we'll actually be drawing like stuff, and that's where you learn more shortcuts, more more ideas or more ways of doing things that are relatively simple. All right, so let's begin. All right. So this is the outline of the presentation today. I'm going to skim through this briefly so that we have more time for those practice videos where we actually draw stuff. So it's going to go through an introduction, going all the way to line types, modifying commands, then plotting and some sample drawings. I'm going to be brief as possible so I don't make this video long. All right, so AutoCAD may look complex at first, but then this layout is designed to help you find tools quickly and to draw with precision. The better you know the interface, the more confident and efficient you become. So think of it as your digital drawing board with rulers, pencils, buttons, and drawers, all within your reach. So when you open a new drawing, you'll see the workspace, and this includes several elements. So you have the title bar up here. Let me see if I can. You have a title bar up here, and it displays the file name and the version of the AutoCAD you are using. You also have the application menu, which opens a menu for regular file menu options such as menu, save as, print. Then we have the quick access toolbars, which is right here. Now, these are shortcuts for common commands such as save as, new, open, and such things. Then we have the tabs and panels, which shows the current tab you are working in, and also it helps to organize the tools according to the tasks, for example, drawing, editing, modification. Then we have the main drawing area right here. And this main drawing area is the main canvas where you create drawings. Then we have the command line also below here. And this is where you type in commands, or if there's any prompts by the system, that's where you are going to see it. Then we have the navigation to this side for zooming, panning, orbiting. It's usually used in 3D modeling, but then to begin with, we are going to start with 2D, but then panning is still essential in 2D, so we'll go over it a bit. Then we have the status bar down below here, which shows settings like the grid, auto, coordinate, all at the bottom. Then we have the view or the view cube or UCS icon, right? So I'm going to just open my AutoCAD. So this is how the interface looks like, right? So I'm going to click on new drawing. Just give it some time for it to load up. Yeah. So as I mentioned, all the tools I mentioned are right here. So you have the drawing tools here, construction, detail, modifying, the layers, annotation, block, and the rest. Right. So this is the main area in which you'll be drawing. And this is the command line I mentioned where you can either type in commands. For example, in order to draw a line, you can use the regular click. You click on the line, you specify your first point, your next point, your next point, your next point. Let's say we end it here. Right. Now, instead of clicking here, I can simply type in here line and hit on enter, and I can do the same thing. So the command line is kind of a shortcut way of just entering command instead of using the regular click and select method. You're going to see more of this in subsequent videos where we have some actual drawings you'll be doing. Let me move on here. Right, so on how to issue commands. So commands can be issued via the toolbar as I showed, through the regular click and select, or you can also issue it using the command line where you type in a command. There's also an option where you can use the menu where you click on the desired option or keyboard shortcuts or the shortcut menu where you guys click on the graphics area and a menu pop up for you to select whatever you want to. So in setting up a new drawing, one thing is to specify the unit. The unit is very important. The unit can be specified by simply typing units in the command line and selecting the unit you want. The same thing goes for limit also, where you set the lower left and the upper right corner. Now, that's the reason why we set limit is to ensure that the drawing or the sketch that you are going to make will fit within the the space you have available and not to go beyond it. In addition to that, you have other drawing aids such as the grade where it turns the background grade off or on. We have the snap that restricts the cursor movement to regular intervals. The shortcut key for it is F9. We also have the auto, which forces all lines to be either vertical or horizontal, and the shortcut key is F8. We also have the object snap, which snaps to key geometry like endpoints, midpoints, center lines. Yes, such points like that. Now, in actual drawing, we have the draw commands, which are used to place elements in the graphics area. As I mentioned, commands can be typed or selected. And points in command so there are four ways, right? You have the interactive method where you click and select, or the absolute method. The absolute method is you input your X and Y coordinates relative to the origin, which is assumed to be 0, 0. That's in the X and Y planes. They also have the relative rectangular, in which the input is given relative to the previous point, and the relative polar, where the input distance and the angle are given relative to the last point. There's going to be another video on the point selection in which I'll go into great details how to calculate the input points relative to the origin and the input point relative to the previous object or the previous point. In addition to that, we have a 2D draw objects such as lines, circle, polylines, and the rest. The same way in gen drawings, we have various line types and various line thicknesses. You also have the same thing in AutoCAD where you can specify your line width and your line type. Now, these are specified using layers, and these layers can be changed according to how you want it to appear or according to the given specifications, which includes like setting different colors, setting different line types, line width. You can also lock layers to prevent them from being edited. There are going to be other videos where we go much more into details on these. Then to dimensioning, you can use AutoCAD 2 for dimensioning, right? And we have the various types, the linear, ordinate, angular, radial, the arc length, and the chamfer, which is usually good for fillet measurements. And one thing to notice, dimensions are associative. So once you dimension and you change the length of what you dimension, the value of the dimension will automatically update to reflect the new change that you made, which makes it like very cool and easy to navigate compared with manually typing in the new dimension that you made. You also have an option to add text in AutoCAD where you wouldn't get the robust functionalities in Word processing document like applications such as Word or LaTeX, but then you still have some basic functions such as changing the font type, the font size, italize text, bold, subscript, superscript, such things. Yeah, we have similar things in AutoCAD which can be done. Then we have the modifying commands. So these commands are usually used to make modifications to drawings. So we have the mirror, which is used to like duplicate stuff based on the mirror line. We have the rotate, the trim to cut off stuff, offset to shrink objects by specified distance, inwards or outwards. We also have the arrays where you can duplicate objects in a rectangular or a circular manner. You have the erase to clean objects, scale to make objects bigger or smaller based on the scale factor. You have the stretch, also use modify objects drawn. You also have the extend to, as the name implies, to increase the length of a drawing you have already made. Then you have the chamfer fillet. Then we have many other more modifying commands. You're going to see this as you begin drawings in AutoCAD. Now, plotting. Once you are done with your drawing, you need to export it. And this is where plotting comes into play. So plotting helps you to export your drawings into a suitable format, such as PDF or PowerPoint. And in doing that, these are the specifications you have to set: the page size, the scale, the quality, the orientation. There'll be other videos on it to go into more details. So we are going to move on to some drawing samples. I'll see you in our next video.